Is there a need for something like an SMO, kind of the equivalent of IMO that we would have on the integration? What is their role? When do you get them involved? Kind of how do you think about overall program management for separation or divestiture?
Yeah, so I think it is not exactly like an integration management office, but it has some very good similarities with them, right? So the SMO has got very different levels of involvement. Sometimes the SMO leader is nominated from somebody who's in the sell side diligence, right? Or the separation diligence, depending on what terminology you use. And I would think about it that there is always a steering committee that is put, which is from the executives of both places. Right? Think about them as the air traffic control. Okay, the SMO is the guy who's flying the plane, and the functions are like wing. And if the coordination breaks, you know what happens when air traffic control, governance, and the pilots are not in coordination, right? That exact same disaster can happen here. And I think we've seen that movie many, many, many times. And in a separation management office, you are also looking at what am I planning? What are my next 10 days looking at? What am I going to do? What are my risks? What are my mitigation plans? And then I always tend to kind of take risks into three categories. There are business risks, there are execution risks, okay? And then there are risks called transaction risk. If something happens like a crazy dyssynergy and stuff like that, it can derail the whole transaction. More often than not, people are myopic in their functions, and this is no disrespect to them because they're running at 200 miles per hour. They don't see all the risk and they don't see all the interdependencies, right? So somebody has to do A and then B happens, and then C, you find out there's a technology dependency, 4, there's a tech dependency. So SMO has to aggregate all of them, quantify the risks, make sure they're executable tactical plans. And it is the glue between strategy and execution. And I'm telling you, literally, you need to have your eyes, ears, 10 other eyes and ears open. It's like no different from flying a plane. And one mistake, it can be leading to literally derailment of the transaction. It's also SMO's job to understand what am I going to do with a level of entanglement or separation, right? Especially, can I get rid of all this? On the other side, okay, now I don't have resources to catch this, right? Can I outsource some of this? Also, the separation strategy, you have to stand up and ask the questions. And to your point, the cost is not understood. It's very easy to stand up and say, hey, copy and clone everything and go there. Either way, it's at a different cost, right? So can you do a lift and shift? Do you have all the bells and whistles in place? Do you have ability to test, ability to roll back? Do you have the right resources in place? So it's about bringing the whole ship together. In some ways, it's similar to the integration management office. The difference is that in integration, you can go back and reverse certain decisions. In separation, once the deed is done and you're past a certain place, there's just no reverse gear. You just have to go forward and then navigate yourself through, right? So that's the big difference here.